Now let's talk about ISIS. Not because we want to, but like my friend the rabbi just said, that he was very sad that this type of gathering has to take place. Yes, it's unfortunate that I have to sit here and talk to you about these things. I would much rather be sitting with you and talking to you about something else. ISIS and Islam, ISIS and the Caliphate, ISIS and Jihad. So ISIS does not equal Islam, ISIS does not equal Jihad, and ISIS does not equal the Caliphate. It's that clear. And this is something that all the Muslims of the world have agreed upon. ISIS's version of Islam is not Islam. It's not the Islam that was brought by the Prophet Muhammad anyways. Because their version of Islam allows only them and a few buddies of theirs to be included. And everyone else, including people like myself, are simply non-Muslim. And anyone who does not cooperate is by default a non-Muslim. And anyone who works for, in their twisted ideology, anyone who works with a government that's not supporting them, works under such a government that's not supporting them, is an apostate. Those governments are apostate governments. In other words, they've left Islam. Those leaders are apostates. And to work for any department in such a government is an act of apostasy. So that makes it pretty easy, because then there's just a few Muslims left in the world, and the rest you can do whatever you want. There's no holds that are barred anymore. You have a carte blanche to do anything you want. And then this mentality that just because somebody is not from your religion, you can kill them. In this year, I'll take you back to 2014. In the first 8 months of 2014, according to a UN report, 9,347 civilians were killed by them. Why would you need to kill so many civilians that are living within your so-called state? These are people who live within your state. 9,347. And 17,386 were wounded. And then there are details of that. Who was killed when and why? So, a Sunni imam, for example, who doesn't pledge his allegiance to their caliph needs to be killed. An entire battalion of soldiers that's simply asking, why do we have to go to that village and kill all those Sunni Muslims? Because, Muslims, Islamic State, it's for Muslims, we assume. So why do we have to go in and annihilate this entire village of people? For asking the question, they would kill and slaughter 300 of their own soldiers just like that. Why'd you ask the question? So I think what we're dealing with here are madmen and fanatics. They're not just extremists. They're not fundamentalists. They're not conservative Muslims. They're fanatics. They are radicals. And everything they do is completely radical. And you have to understand that this is not a religious movement, this is a political movement. It's a movement that is in place to take over land, to take over assets. This is not a movement for the sake of implementing Islam or spreading Islam. If these people wanted to implement Islam or spread Islam, they would have done it the way their Prophet did. I mean, what is your problem when the greater majority of people you're dealing with are Muslims, but you're still having to kill and kill and kill for the sake of spreading Islam? What kind of Islam is that? It's obviously a brand of Islam that people have never heard of before. That's why people are having so much difficulty digesting this version of Islam. And if you wanted to spread Islam, couldn't you just have worked with governments? Couldn't you just have preached? Isn't that what Muslims used to do, just preach? And those who take your message, that's fine. Those who don't, you move on and talk to someone else. Don't you spread Islam by displaying it? Don't you spread Islam by showing acts of kindness? where did this version of Islam come from? And then to try to present it as the authentic Islam or the real deal. Nothing could be further from the truth. The problem with ISIS and Islam, or ISIS and Muslims, is that Islam has been hurt by ISIS more than any other movement in the world. And Muslims have been hurt by ISIS more than any other movement in the world. And all the non-Muslims of the world combined have not done the damage to Islam that ISIS alone has done. And not all of the non-Muslims in the world together have killed as many Muslims as ISIS has killed. And that is where I see the problem, and I hope you can see that too. And that's what we have to deal with. And at the same time, how ironic it is for us Muslims that they're using the name of Islam. It would have been much better if you used some other symbol, you used some other token, you used some other excuse for whatever you're doing, and left our religion alone. So because everyone is an apostate, it's all good. You can kill everyone. And the ethics of war that they're employing is just that there are no ethics. You can kill anyone and everyone in any way that you choose.